All right, guys. So we have a really, really simple AMA to go over. It really all boils down to one simple question, and it's all pertaining to the listing and the confidence around the listing, and where we're at as far as that is concerned. So. And then, of course, there's questions about the free zone, and that really boils down everybody's concerns right now. So I am just going to stick to that at this time and not really worry about anything else. There's a few questions about GSX in there. We'll definitely put those into the Telegram group and deal with that more off camera. Since we're really hyper focusing on the GGT and the GRP listing. So just to go back and talk about everything that I've said on video. There's one big thing. Well, there's several, but there's one big thing that I've always talked about on camera, on video, that I believe will help us to hold any price that we list at, to an extent, as far as on exchanges and get us to a certain place, and that's the free zone announcement. That is the free zone. Something that I have talked about and I have pushed towards and I have been fighting for this whole time. So just to kind of backwards, to go backwards and talk about exactly where I was whenever we talked about the free zone last time. As far as at the very beginning. So at the very beginning, we had everything on track to actually get the free zone paid for completely by the end of the quarter. And the reason for that was because of the amount of money that we were bringing in at that very point, in that very pinnacle, was enough to where by the end of that 3-month period, we should definitely have had enough to do the free zone. And that was basically when Bitcoin was, I believe it was almost when it hit its all-time high, about $120, $120,000 per Bitcoin, and everything was rolling. I mean, rolling. As soon as that started going down, I've mentioned it in the past, but basically that's why we started watching the market as far as listing in Q4 at all, because we saw the buys go from, really, really good, really healthy, people wanting to invest into, basically a smaller sphere. And the reason for that is because a lot of, the more, the investments that are lower market cap are definitely put off until the market's really good, usually. And I've seen that from every listing we've done. So that's why I was very apprehensive about listing in a, downhill market. I mean, even today, Bitcoin went down to $89,000, a piece. So, and then it came back up again a little bit. I believe it's sitting at about 90,000 to 91,000 at the moment. But that's the reason why I've ever even brought up the market. So that is the only reason that we haven't gotten the free zone accomplished to this point. And I just want to basically clarify exactly where we're at. So we had a very one of our really good partners in Knoxwire essentially is from the country that we have the partnership with, or that we have this pre-agreement with. So where we're at with it is we had them go on our behalf to the president of this country, and they represented us. They brought our treaty that we had already pre-done, and essentially they negotiated on our behalf and just said, here's the agreement, here's our treaty, this is what we would need you to sign, and this is the budget that we have, for this signature. And essentially what we got was a clear agreement to the terms that we set forth, and to the price. So we've got everything down to a T. So the whole thing that we've been doing now, and our whole goal, our whole focus has been basically on top of getting everything done on the development level, which we've been killing. Or I shouldn't say I have been killing, but our devs have been absolutely killing in has been pushing those buys and pushing investment to get that over the line to essentially be able to announce that on or near the listing. Because if you look back to the video that I talked about, the $100 listing, it's all about that free zone, and it was about being on track this quarter, which this quarter, or by this quarter I mean Q4, to getting that out right before the listing, and then boom, having that momentum from that monumental announcement, which, like I've said in the past, is one of the things that is absolutely, from what I've seen, ground shaking. Nobody's ever done it. And when I say nobody, countries have, maybe had agreements, like China's gotten an agreement with, I believe, Malaysia. Like countries, like massive major countries have gotten, smaller agreements done that allow them to have a small territory that's sovereign, that's completely sovereign. But as far as a company, I've never seen it before, and that's what we've been pushing for and working towards this entire time. So, just going backwards to where we were at whenever I was talking about that is, and it still pertains to today, absolutely. I believe with all my heart, and I know. I just feel like I know that we can hold $100 level and probably the 1 cent level for GGGT with the free zone announcement. I have no doubt about that. So what does that mean if we don't have it? Well, it means that we're going to be going based off of our intense marketing schedule, which right now we've got, we're pushing extremely hard to have at least 100 influencer videos out by the time of listing. So we've got influencers going like crazy, and we've got we'll have ads out like crazy, and we'll be pushing it to the limit as much as we possibly can. Then we've got our actual pending announcements that we can absolutely control, which are the new development announcements. Okay, so that includes basically the announcement for the announcements to be able to create apps, NFTs, all that instantly on chain on our servers, and getting that out to influencers and with influencers, and getting more momentum around that. So we've got both of those things that we are absolutely working towards, absolutely controlling, and we're getting things out. We've had well over, I'd say at this point, 130 influencer videos that have gone out. We'll definitely be publishing that. One of the reasons why we didn't publish it, we haven't consistently published it, is because a lot of trolls have obviously gotten it and gone in there. The few trolls that we have, and just caused chaos in those communities. But we'll definitely be publishing, a lot of those to a certain extent, and sharing with you guys so that you can go on there and comment and, show the love for Grape on there. But yeah, so what I've seen in the group is, in the community, is basically you guys need, and I totally get it, you guys need to have a listing date. Obviously, I don't know what's going to happen with the market in February. By February 20th, I don't know what's going to happen with the market. I don't know if it's going to be the same, if it's going to get better by then. We don't know what's going to happen. We are working our butts off right now to get the free zone announcement out before then. If it's not out, I think it's okay, and I'll tell you why. This is why I think it's okay if we end up listing, and if it's not as high as we've always wanted. If we don't have the free zone out in time, And like I said, we'll be working extremely hard for that. But if we don't have the free zone out in time and we list, here's the reason why I actually don't think it's that big of a deal. That's because like I think having that market open, and regardless of where we're at, I believe having that market open and being able to allow people in the U.S. and U.K. as soon as they hear the the free zone announcement to be able to go and buy GRP and GTT, I think that might be actually better in some ways. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, even if we don't get the big boost from the free zone announcement before listing, we're going to get that boost after. So regardless, I think we're going to be in a position where it's going to be okay. It's going to be completely fine, and we'll be able to get to our goal of a certain. I mean, obviously, my personal goals, my where I'm looking at things and where I want to get us to I'd say even the short term. I mean, where I want to get us is the $100 range with GRP and the 1 cent range with the free zone announcement. That's kind of where I see things. Obviously, I have no idea what's going to happen. I don't know. We have a certain control. We can push as hard as we can with the marketing. We can get everything down to a T on everything. But there's a lot of factors, a lot of elements that we don't know. As far as the market and all that goes. Who's going to be online that day? We don't know. But what we can control, we are controlling it to a monumental degree, and we are going all in, and we're getting everything we possibly can ready. And what I can tell you is that we're going to have the absolute most impressive blockchain in crypto, in blockchain, and there's nothing else that I've ever seen that can compare with it. And what I mean by that is the user friendliness and the ability to create more technology in a short period of time is something I don't think that there will be for a while. I think we'll keep that lead for quite a while. So I say that to say, I just want to clarify everything that we've talked about. So that now I'm sure that what you're wondering is, okay, so what are we going to list at if we don't have the announcement? What are we going to list at if we do? I'll basically come into Discord. I'll come into Telegram. We can talk about that. We can go over the different possibilities. I've already gone over the possibility for GGT. Basically, we're looking at the 0.0035 range, which I think is a really strong range. It was actually 10 times higher than it was trading in the past. So I think it's a good starting point that will push us forward if we don't have that announcement to go for before it starts. And then with GRP, we'll put some things out there. But like I said, we're gonna basically take that price on the buy side to $15. So it'll definitely be higher than $15 at the very least if we don't have it. And like I said, even if we don't, and if we list and it's lower, it's not going to be lower than $15. I can tell you. There's no way we're not going to sell it and then for $15, then go through and list it lower. There's no way. But what we are going to do, we're going to push as hard as we possibly can. And like I said, all we can do is work our butts off to get the biggest possible announcement items out there. That's the development stuff, with the app and game AI features. That is the the free zone announcement. With getting our e-governance system back online that basically everybody can use, and everybody start using that. And in fact, it's actually something we've been talking about, and I think it would be super fun to actually get that up again and have it ready and started to where people can actually go on there, sign up, become an early resident, You can start getting things like IDs and just utilizing the system and testing the system out. Basically, we spent millions of dollars to build this e-governance system, and I think it would be phenomenal for people to be able to take part in that even beforehand. Before we get anything done as far as our before we announce the free zone, just having it up and just sharing in the community side of what we're trying to accomplish, and to be part of that. And just to be able to see, okay, these guys are serious. They built an entire e-governance system that has 9 departments of government, all onto it. So it's something we take very seriously, and we're going to be pushing forward. So that pertains to almost every single question that we had come in. It's basically the confidence for certain levels. It's the free zone. It's the listings, the listing date. And one of the things that I do want to do first is that I want to list GGT first. So we've been talking to our exchange today on that level. And that's one of the things I will end with, though, is that it has been extremely hard to find. Basically, you have that tier. You have that exchange that the preliminary exchange, where you list a newer token, but it also allows U.S. and U.K. Participants. So, I mean there's not a lot of them. There's very, very few. So we're going to be listing, and then we have a beginning exchange that we're going to be listing that's pretty well known. I believe we've been listed there before, but not with GRP, but with Apollo. But then we have a secondary one that's kind of in that top. Well, it depends on where you're looking at it, but usually it's in the top 20. That we'll be listing on immediately after that. So we got an exchange plan right now that we believe it's great. It's we got a stair step that'll be it'll be strong. It'll be a strong stair step, and you just got to obviously get in the tier 2, then you can get to tier 1 and immediately move up. So we've got the plan, we've got everything down. We're going to be marketing the heck out of everything. We're keeping an eye on the market. We're working as hard as we can to possibly get all of the announcement stuff underway and lined up. And like I said, the absolute worst case that happens is that we announce the big stuff right after we list, and then we have everything available for people to go and invest and buy. GRP and GGT immediately on the market, and they'll have basically be listed on CMC, and it'll be easy for people to find. Unlike the buy site where it's not really listed on there, so they'll get the news and then boom, they can just pounce and start buying. So, guys, that's pretty much it as far as this AMA goes. Now, I may do one immediately on Monday if there's anything that I can find that's left out. And what I might do is this. If I see anything else that's on there that is important, that I believe needs to be addressed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on and I'll jump on the Telegram, and then we'll share it on the Discord. But we'll basically address those there. Until then, guys, have a wonderful weekend. We are going to hit this as hard as we possibly can. We are working our asses off to make this a top 30, top 20 coin really quick. We're doing everything that we possibly can to get it out there, to get it seen, and then to get those big elements that are going to be really, really, really bringing people in over the edge. So, guys, have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend, and we will we'll definitely be talking a little bit on Telegram today.